Alright, what's going on, guys? UFC 318 was this past weekend. I was out of town for a couple weeks, so I know I missed a couple of UFCs. I might do a video this week just kind of recapping that event. It was actually a pretty good event, despite lack of a real championship and some weird placements for the fights. But this video today, usually middle of the week, Dana likes to just go live and drop a whole bunch of news on us, and that is what happened. So we're going to be breaking down the video that Dana made, and then I'll just go through some of the posts, and we'll kind of talk about how we feel about each fight that he made, how we feel about the events that are shaping up for the fall UFC schedule that we have coming up. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go into it right away with the video that Dana made. For some reason, it's not on their X accounts or Twitter or whatever, but it's on TikTok for the UFC's account. So let's watch this TikTok.
UFC 320, October 4th, T-Mobile, Las Vegas. The champ, Magomed Ankalaev, defends his belt against Alex Pereira. Ankalaev hasn't lost in 7 years. He has the second longest win streak in the UFC light heavyweight division behind who? John Jones.
Glaze.
Let the hate begin.
Yeah.
Pereira, former two-division champ, 10 of his 12 wins have come by knockout, and he has the highest striking accuracy in the light heavyweight division. The co-main event for that fight will be Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Merab is on a 13-fight win streak. Sandhagen's ranked number 3. Another badass fight on that card is Yuri Prohaska versus Khalil Roundtree. I don't need to say anything else. For those of you that know, you know.
I just want to say, why? This is like the most low-effort announcement video I feel like Dana has ever made. Usually he's like screaming into his phone and holding up being like, these are the new fights. And this one, it sounds like he has a cold. And he's just sitting there like reading off of some notes that Hunter Campbell gave him. Like, oh yeah, Pereira has striking accuracy. Like, okay, could you care a little bit more about what you're trying to tell us here, man? Like, these are exciting fights.
That is a badass fight. Should be a fun one. Let's see. Also, we got the Contender Series coming back on Tuesday of that week. Is that what we're saying? Yeah, that week. So that week's pretty badass week. We got those fights that I just mentioned. The Contender Series is coming back. And we got UFC BJJ 3 on Thursday, Power Slap 15 on Friday, and 320 on Saturday. So what you should do is, if you're going to come to that fight, you should come in all week. Come in all week and hang out with us. It's a badass week for combat sports. All right, now, UFC 321, October 25th, Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane. Aspinall has 15 wins, and all of them are by finish. Gane is the #1 ranked heavyweight. You can go to tickets go on sale this Friday. EtihadArena.ae or Ticketmaster.ae. UFC 320, October 4th.
Okay, now it's restarting. As for that announcement video itself, like I said, that was just like, are they making you do this while you're sick or something, Dana? Like, get somebody else to film it if this is going to be the most low-effort video I've ever seen on your guys' channel. Maybe that's why they just shunned it to TikTok. They're like, oh, this isn't good enough for our other social media. The announcements are really good, so like I said, we'll kind of look through here. So obviously the big one, something we've been waiting for a long time. Tom Aspinall, finally undisputed champion. This is his first official undisputed title defense. Main event in Abu Dhabi. I do think it's a little bit interesting because of the whole UFC Noche fiasco. We're not getting a pay-per-view in September. We're getting 2 pay-per-views in October. One on October 4th and October 25th. So one at the beginning of the month, one at the end of the month. The British champion is taking on the French contender in Abu Dhabi, and then in Vegas you have a Russian champion and a Georgian champion, which I just think is a little bit funny, like crowds wise. Either way, this is big. This is Gane's like 3rd undisputed title shot, 4th if you count his interim, which is just insane to me. He doesn't. It feels like he gets just the title shot off like one win every time. He loses a title, he gets a win, he gets back in the title contention. Heavyweight is not a very thick division. Obviously, it's very thin. It's not a ton of talent there. This is a fresh matchup. Again, it makes sense. I'm not complaining about the fight itself. I think it's going to be hopefully an easy, quick title defense for Tom Aspinall, and then he can stay active and get in there a bunch and just beat up all these fatties in heavyweight. That would really make me happy after just the worst champion in the division's probably history, holding it up for years beforehand. I want to see heavyweight title fights. I want to see him often, and I want to see him be quick and explosive like all of Aspinall's fights have been so far. So we get Aspinall versus Gane. Gane is not good. He's probably one of the weakest #1 contenders in the whole UFC, and he had an absolute robbery in his last fight against Volkov. But doesn't mean it's not an exciting matchup. And again, like I said, it's a fresh matchup. I'm kind of disappointed we didn't get a single other fight announced for this card in that video. It was just for this one, and then we had 3 announced for 320. But, 320 is coming up first, so that's fine. We can take a look again. He went over it, but Ankalaev versus Pereira 2. It's weird to see Pereira in that, contender outfit again. We're so used to seeing him, his legendary championship run he had last year. But I don't know. I hope that he's able to make enough adjustments to go out there and get the win. I'm not the biggest Ankalaev fan. I don't think he has the most exciting style. He did neutralize the offense of Pereira quite a bit. Pereira looked a little bit gun-shy in their first fight, but hopefully he goes, hit the drawing board, come up with a game plan where he can beat Ankalaev. Either way, this is a very hyped matchup. Their first fight was really hyped. I don't think it delivered a ton. I think it was a bit boring, and I think that's probably to Ankalaev's credit. But again, on paper, super big fight, headlining UFC 320. Co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. This is the fight that I think Merab called for. The journalists were really pushing this one out there. Corey has been campaigning for a title fight since the crack of dawn. That doesn't even make sense. Since the UFC was conceived, this dude was just begging for a title shot, okay? I feel like this guy will go and get some bogus old man win or some fluke injury win and then cry for a title shot for like a year straight. Granted, he took on Umar when nobody else would, and he lost. And then I'm not gonna get into Sandhagen's entire career here. We'll break down our predictions when it comes closer to these fights. I think this will be an easy title defense before Merab. I think that Merab is going to be a dominant champion for a while. Bantamweight has some killers, but I don't think any of them are at Merab's level or at a point where they're ready to face Merab yet. So I think that Merab should get this one done. It's a fresh matchup. That's always good. Add another name potentially to Merab's legacy. I'm not completely doubting Corey Sandhagen. He could go out there and get some crazy knockout. We just haven't seen that happen yet. We've seen Merab face dangerous strikers. Like he faced Sean O'Malley, he faced Peter Yan, and he just absolutely diffused them. And he went and recently, in his last fight, submitted Sean O'Malley. So he's out there snatching necks. Sandhagen is finishable. He's also does not do well historically against wrestlers. So I think that, again, on paper, this one should be easy for Merab. You never know. Still excited to see it. I like seeing Merab be super active. It's awesome for the division, and it's just awesome for the UFC to have an active champion who racks up some title defenses. We've kind of been lacking that the last year. So, and then obviously the featured fight for now, what we know is Yuri Prochazka versus Khalil Rountree, number 2 versus number 4. They're really making Rountree earn his next potential title shot if he gets it. I think if he has back-to-back wins over Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka, he's undeniable for either the Alex rematch or the Ankalaev fight. So I'm excited for this one, man. I would probably lean towards Yuri. I just think his style is sporadic enough to overcome Rountree. I think that Rountree is a pretty by-the-books kickboxer. He mixes up the Muay Thai, but I just don't think that I don't know. I think it works on Jamal Hill. It works on a guy who has really bad footwork like Jamal. I'm not saying that Prochazka doesn't have good footwork, but he's weird. He mixes it up. I think he's unpredictable. I think he'll throw some shit at Rountree that'll probably catch him. and he has a lot of dangerous power. You know, he knocked out Hill, Roundtree went the 5, and then, you know, couldn't really put him out, even though Hill looked like he got injured pretty early on. So I would lean Yuri Prochazka in this matchup. I'm still super excited. This is going to be violence, just pure violence. This card is shaping up to be really good. I can't wait to see how the rest of it fills out. I'm glad that we're finally kind of getting, you know, we just had 318, and we don't even know the co-main of 319 yet. We only had known the main event of 321, so it's getting that time where it's like, okay, we need to start knowing what these events are going to look like coming up, because like Dana said in that video, oh, tickets go on sale this Friday for 321. Is there even any other fights? Like, do we know? Okay, so there's a few fights. We have the Volkov-Almeida fight. I don't know if that's confirmed. If these might already be confirmed. The Rakic versus Verzakano fight. So it's shaping up to look like your typical Abu Dhabi card. I'm surprised it's all mainly heavy and light heavy guys as of right now. But yeah, we'll see how this pay-per-view stacks up. Obviously, I don't think that this is... I mean, these two could be... obviously, this will be a main card fight as well, but I'm expecting to see... I don't know, maybe this is where they throw Masvar versus Pico, if it needs to get delayed that long because of Masvar's injury. I don't know. Maybe Umar returns on this card. We haven't really heard from him in a while. We know that the Russian fighters usually like to sit out for a while and really take their rehab and their... They like to just fight twice a year or maybe even once a year, and Abu Dhabi is usually where they all come piling out. So don't be surprised if the rest of this card is just full of Dagestanis. But there should be some big names on the rest of this card. So, and I'm excited to see, you know, what we have in store for the next couple weeks. 319, I'm really looking forward to. This Saturday, I will be doing a tier list video, or I guess on Sunday, of the Saudi Arabia card, Whitaker versus Rainier de Ritter. Looking forward to that card. I'll do a breakdown of it and everything. But I just wanted to get a quick video out, kind of talk about the announcements that Dana made. Obviously, it's big news, and it's a slow news cycle usually in the UFC here. They kind of dump a bunch of stuff on us every couple months on a random Tuesday or Wednesday, and then there's a bunch of content to make videos on for like a week. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. Are you excited for Tom Aspinall versus Cyril Gane? Are you guys excited for the fights for UFC 320? Who do you have winning these title fights? Is there any cool fights that you guys would like to see put on these pay-per-views? Let me know down below, and yeah, I'll see ya.